Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a gabbing and a singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talk, talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee,
Oh, talking Toni, really gonna talk tonight.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Toni. I'm Toni Holmperm, the singing diva of Long Island, and this is my little show here on Strong Island Radio, where I get to speak to some of the many fabulous people that I know. And today I'm joined by none other than Tree Sequoia. Hello, Tree.
Hi, how are you? Good evening. By the way, it's only
Yes.
Sequoia on Facebook. I have one name, Tree.
Just Tree. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Tree, as I found out today, you're basically synonymous with Stonewall. If you type Tree Sequoia into Google search, Stonewall automatically pops up.
I've been
I don't
here
know.
on and off 52 years.
So I guess that's why. It's been a long marriage, huh?
Well, I was there the day of the rebellion. I was 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And now 51 years later, I'm 81 years young.
No, hey, and still going strong and looking great.
I'm still bartending there once we reopen.
Mm-hmm. That's terrific. I mean, you've had such a long association with Stonewall, and Tree, I know you've probably been asked every possible question about Stonewall and the riots. I mean, I'm sure that there isn't a question I don't think I could ask that you haven't already been asked. But just because I like to be a little bit different, I want to ask you, what was it like before the riots? What was the environment? What were the bars like? What did you encounter when you were a young man going to the gay bars before the Stonewall riots took place?
Well, before, in the 50s and 60s, everything was owned by the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
They knew we had money long before Macy's and American Express.
Right.
And the bars weren't that nice. They were dumps. Bathrooms would overflow.
Mm-hmm.
They had no sinks. They would actually wash the glasses in a tub.
Oh God.
And at the end of the night, some of them actually added water to all the bottles to fill it up. And I went to jail like 10, 12 times just for being in gay bars.
Wow.
They would raid a bar. They put us in jail. No fingerprints or anything, just a big room. The next day we'd go before a judge. He would say, "You're wasting my time. Go home, or you're a degenerate pervert. $20 fine." And then the boys would send their lawyer down. Edith, the hat girling, she'd pay the fine, and we go back to the bar that night.
Now, were you bartending at that time?
No, I was in there dancing with my friends. My friend Johnny Marino worked there. He left in 1968, but he recommended me. He's now Uncle Johnny on the Elvis Duran show.
Oh.
That's my sister of like 55 years.
Oh.
No matter how long I live, he's always reminding me he's 3 years younger.
Oh. Well, it's always good to have a friend that is so nice to remind you that they're just slightly younger.
I love him dearly. He's been bartending on Fire Island like 55 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, Mario Mae West was behind the bar. We called him Mae West.
Mm-hmm.
And when we heard the ruckus, we figured it was just another raid. We didn't know that was going to be the raid of all raids.
Right. To you guys, it was just the kind of thing that always happened, like on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, we basically hang out at a restaurant called Mama's Chicken Ribs.
That sounds good.
It was a gay coffee shop. Mama used to tell us, she was very Greek. She goes, "My boys are not like that. My boys don't do those things. My boys are good boys." And I wound up hanging out there with friends, and one day I asked for a cup of coffee, and the waiter, my dear friend Mark White, said, "Go get it yourself. I'm busy." Then I made 3 coffees for him, and the next thing I knew is I worked there 7 years
Wow. At the chicken and rib place.
at Mama's Chicken Ribs.
Mama's chicken ribs. No, not chicken and ribs. It's chicken rib.
Chick and the letter N and rib.
Oh, chick and rib. Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to forgive me. I'm blonde tonight, so.
And I worked there for years, and we used to, when I got off work, we'd walk around the corner to either Stonewall or we'd go to the Ninth Circle. That was just starting to be a gay bar. It was a very famous steakhouse, and the owner started turning it gay because, you know, people get tired of eating there all the time. And so I've been bartending in the village in 3 bars: Ninth Circle, 25 years, Julius's 5 years, and on and off in Stonewall since '69. I would say 21 years.
Wow. And as I was asking you before, Tree, because the younger crowd, they have no concept. I don't think they could even imagine that, you know, you're in a bar, you're dancing with your friends, and I'm too young to have experienced this, but my husband, who would go to the bars on Long Island, told me, like, when he first started going, and this was, you know, 69, 70, it was a normal occurrence. All of a sudden you'd be dancing, all of a sudden the lights came on, the music stopped, and like a couple of police officers would walk in, and everybody just stopped dead in their tracks. And they walked around, they went, you know, over to the bartender usually, and they got their, you know, their pay, and then they exited, and then everything went back to normal.
Yeah, and some of the bars had a sign in the window: "This is a rated premise," and a cop would sit at the front door counting how many people are coming in. And when he stood up to take a walk, the lights would come on, the music would stop, he'd walk around the room, and when he got off work, they gave him an envelope or a coffee container with no coffee in it, it had money in it. And Stonewall still has the original one from Stonewall.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's right in the front entrance. And I got news for you. I used to live in Brooklyn, and there were a lot of bars on Long Island years ago in the 60s and 70s. Almost every city had a gay bar. My favorite was the Hayloft and Flame. And they were different mafia groups. They burnt each other down, so we didn't go there anymore. But we used to go to Freckle Bellies. We used to go all over. Long Island was fun. We used to drive out and start at the end and then work our way back to the city.
Yeah, my husband said that a lot of times people would drive out from the city to like one of the Long Island bars. I can't remember. Of course, now I can't remember what the names were. But there were quite a few Long Island bars that people would actually travel in from the city to go to those, which, you know,
something different.
Yeah, I guess so. But back then there was that was what you did. You went out to a bar. You didn't go on your phone. There were no apps. You had to actually had to go out and meet people.
Didn't have answering machines either.
No answering machines, no pagers, nothing like that. Now, Tree, back in the 50s, even you know, going back a little earlier, were there still those kind of bars where it was like a secret, like you had to, like, you know, knock on a door, and it was like you had to give a password?
It was always that way. The 50s, 60s, it was always that way till the raid stopped. Every bar, if you didn't know where the gay bar was, you never went to one. Somebody had to take you to one. The first bar I ever went to, I was underage, called the Bally Davy on Broadway and 86th Street. And I walked in the door, there was a cop standing there, and I was a nervous wreck because I was only 16. But he couldn't care less. He was waiting for the envelope at the end of the night.
Right.
And my friends, we saw people go in the back room. So after about 2 weeks, I had enough courage to say, I'm going in the back and see what's going on. I came out of the back room, and my friends go, what are they doing back there? I said, they're dancing. So I went in back and started dancing. Remember, we danced to a jukebox.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the cha-cha, the mambo, the lindy, the line dances.
Mm-hmm.
And you danced with lesbians, fag hags, and other guys.
Mm-hmm. One of my friends, Tony Domino, he had told me this is probably 69 that one of the bars when all of a sudden when a raid would happen, like the lesbians would, like a lesbian would grab a gay guy and a gay guy would grab a lesbian, so they would like make it look like they were like dancing with somebody of the opposite sex.
Yeah, that's it. We used to do that too. And I used to hang out at a lesbian bar in Greenwich Village called the Bohemian. It was owned by the mafia guy named Nicky, and he let 5 or 6 guys in, so he had somebody to talk to. After about 2 weeks, he couldn't find me. I'm dancing with the lesbians, and I'm still friends. I'm still friends with a lot of them.
Oh, that's terrific. I'm wondering. I'm sure one of the people that you know from back then is Rusty Rose.
Well, we had our own groups. We didn't know everybody.
You didn't know everybody.
I was friends with Stormy DeLever, the #1 lesbian. And Marsha B. Johnson was a street kid. They let her in once in a while.
Right.
Sylvia Rivera was a drag queen then, not tranny, not a transgender. And we didn't understand transgenders or drag queens because when we were outside, we wouldn't talk to them in case somebody we knew from our neighborhood would see us talking to them, being a wreck. But we always said hello and goodbye in the bar.
Right.
It was a different time. My family didn't know until my second boyfriend.
And like what year was that?
About 30-something years ago. My mother thought my first roommate was my roommate. And when he was killed in a car crash, I stayed single for about 6 years. And then I met Patrick. And my mother got suspicious because he was 25 years younger than me.
Oh.
And I turned him semi, but now he's married with kids. They're 21, 22, and he's still my best friend in the world.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. How did your mom take it when you came out?
I took it to a restaurant called the Waverly in the Village. It was my birthday. Jerry Scott was playing the piano, and I took them there. People were sending me champagne bottles for my birthday. And my mother said, "Why is that waiter wearing nail polish? Look at the hair on that girl." And then she noticed that Jerry Scott was playing songs for my birthday. My mother's name was Sally, her nickname. So he played My Gal Sal. My mother looked at me. She looked at Patrick, looked at me, looked at Patrick, came back to me and went, "Oh." And that's how it happened. And then I dragged her to gay coffee shops, gay restaurants. I took her backstage to every Broadway show. She used to hang out with Peter Allen, all of them.
Oh, Peter Allen. Oh, I go to Rio.
He was a dear friend. He used to come,
really?
He used to come to the Night Circle. He wrote a song about it called "Just Ask Me, I've Been There." I see angels and sin there. Rob was a customer every weekend almost when he's in New York. A lot of celebrities used to come. Every bar I ever worked in, celebrities came.
Wow, that's amazing. Was there anyone who ever came in that was a total surprise to you that they'd be coming into a gay bar?
Well, just recently, he's still straight as an arrow. Ted Danson came in before the coronavirus and played pool with the kids.
Really?
And he came in, had a drink. And Joe Biden came in, our president, our future president, I hope.
Right. I know.
And he bought a round of drinks for the bar. And we had Madonna sang on New Year's Eve.
That's right. I remember seeing that on social media.
I was at dinner with friends, and they called me up and said, "You got to come. Madonna wants a photo with you." I said, I'm eating. They go, "Get your ass here now." So I went there. She sang a couple of songs. I'm standing next to her. She says, "You can move closer. I don't bite." And I said, "I do."
Oh,
And then I said, by the way, 35 years ago at Charlie's West, East Orange, New Jersey, I watched you perform when you wore the black dress, the laces with all the crucifixes. She pointed at me like this and said, neither one of us are that old. It was amazing.
Tree, only you, that somebody would call them and say, Madonna's here, wants to meet you, and be like, well, I'm eating. I am not worthy, because I would have dropped that plate and fork in a heartbeat.
Hey, food's more important than anything to me at my age. She was so sweet. She was really sweet.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's it's a testimony to you that you're actually, Madonna is a fan of you. I can't imagine.
Well, I did see her at Charlie's West in East Orange, New Jersey, when she first started. They even said nobody knows her. And so my friends owned the bar. I went to see her. Mm-hmm. And, we watched the show, and then we went back to the bar. And then the next thing I see her is 35, 40 years later.
Right. That was a long span of time in between being together in the same room.
And I like the way she accepted it by just saying, neither one of us are that old.
Neither one of us is that old. Definitely. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, when those raids were happening, and the few times that you did actually get arrested, I mean, were you scared?
No, not when you're with so many of your friends, like they're 25, 30, 40 people, and we had no ID. So when they lined us up in a bar, they would say, what is your name? And I would say, Fenwick Fingernail.
Fenwick Fingernail. I remember seeing that. So everyone...
And the cop would just write Fenwick Fingernail. My friend would say, my name is Donna Bella Beads. He would write Donna Bella Beads. Georgie Wolf Girl. Queen Elizabeth. Whatever name you give him, he wrote down. Nobody had ID. If I would have got killed, my mother would have never known.
Oh, geez. And everyone did that. Everyone just gave a made-up name.
Yeah. It was fun. And then they put us in a big bullpen. They separated the lesbians. But every once in a while, they didn't know that one of the guys in the men's booth was a lesbian until I saw them sitting to pee.
Oh.
So then the matron would come over and move them over.
Oh my God! Oh, that's it's amazing. I mean, younger people have no concept of anything like that. It just to the younger crowd, the idea that something like that would happen is just like so alien, so far removed from everything that they deal with.
Well, just recently, Scotland is now teaching gay history in all their schools.
That's right. And
generation come in. There's a lot of younger generations that couldn't care less about the 69, 70s. But
true.
There are so many more that want to learn. I lecture all over the United States. I've been to 8 countries last year in the world. I went to Vienna for Euro Pride and did a speech before almost 500,000 people. Mm-hmm. I raised the gay flag in Cologne, Germany with the mayor. I was in Naples, Italy. I went to England twice. I received the Attitude Magazine Award from Dustin Lance Black. And that's one of the biggest awards in England. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting right next to Dame Joan Collins and
wow.
And Taron Egerton from the Kingsman movies.
Mm-hmm. He played Elton John.
Yes, he was such a sweetheart. I embarrassed him a little.
You're allowed.
When I shook his hand, I said, I masturbate to all your movies. And he just looked at me and I said, but then the usher comes down the aisle, makes me pull up my pants, and they throw me out of the movie house. Then he knew I was kidding, and he grabbed me and hugged me.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I can't imagine, what it would be like to be, well, you've described yourself not as being famous, but as being infamous.
Well, when people say you're famous, I go infamous.
Infamous.
When people say you're part of history, I go, you're old.
Old. But I think, with everything that's going on, especially right now in the world, people are, especially younger people, I think are starting to look back at Stonewall and revisit what happened. And I think a lot of the younger people are now starting to educate themselves more about what happened then, because I think they're seeing a lot of parallels to what's happening in the world today.
Oh yeah, because remember in 1969 in the 70s, we had no rights at all. If
Right.
somebody called up my boss where I worked, if I worked in an office and said he's a homosexual, they fired you. You
Right.
could get evicted out of your apartment within a week if the landlord found out that you and the boyfriend were both gay.
Hmm.
It was a different time, and now
Yeah.
the younger generation has all the rights that they want. They probably want more, but I have no idea what they want. I've been lucky all my life. The first time I went to the village, I met friends, and I wound up working in a gay coffee shop. Then I worked in a gay bar for 25 years, another gay bar, then another gay bar. So I've been happy, ecstatic the entire life. I never had a problem. I would never go back to Brooklyn because I was a member of a gang in the 50s.
Oh.
In Brooklyn, if you didn't belong to a gang, everybody beat you up.
Oh.
And I belonged to a gang called the Halsey Bops.
Uh-huh.
Now, every time they had a war council and they were going to fight another gang, I would go visit my grandmother, but I didn't. They were already dead. But I sneak into the village,
Oh, geez.
and they
'Cause you
never,
didn't-
they never figured it out to this day.
Because you didn't want to fight.
No, I wanted to have sex with them.
Well, since we're being so frank, were there any liaisons with any of the gang members? Did anything ever happen?
With other gang members, yeah, because
Oh.
I'd be at a gay bar and I'd see one of them standing in the corner,
Oh, geez.
and if you don't tell, I won't tell type thing.
Oh. So were you? It was like a gay West Side Story almost.
That would be a great movie.
Right.
The two gangs attack each other and wind up kissing.
Right.
But I've been very lucky with my life. I met the nicest friends. I still have some of them. I've worked for great people. Even the owner of the Ninth Circle was straight as an arrow, but he treated us like his family. When I worked at Julius's, the owner was gay, and he was wonderful. Freddie Lutz. I work for three people now: Kurt Kelly, Bill Morgan, and Toni DeSico, the owners, and Stacy Lenz, who's our PR person, and she's a limited partner. She is amazing. We had Stonewall Day at Yankee Stadium. They put up a plaque to Stonewall in Monument Park.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's coming a long way.
Yeah.
And we have a beer
Absolutely.
named after us now, Stonewall Beer.
Oh, I didn't know there was a beer.
It's Stonewall IPA. It's a Stonewall beer. Now it's two. They have beer and IPA. It comes in cans, bottles, and on tap. And it's partnered ourselves with Brooklyn Beer.
Oh.
Everybody wants to use the Stonewall name now because it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
And I hate when people come over to me and go, "Oh, I was there with you that night, Tree." I go, "You weren't born. You were 7." Everybody wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a picture. There's a picture on Facebook, me making a speech at the United Nations Plaza on the 25th anniversary of Stonewall, 1994. And somebody had to tell me years later that person standing next to me is the Queen Mother, Nicole the Great.
Oh.
I had no idea who she was then.
Then.
He was in a man's suit and everything, had more hair than he does now.
Right.
And then I didn't meet the Queen Mother till like 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No less. Maybe 15 years ago. And when we showed her that picture, she went crazy. It's a small world.
Yes, it is. It really is. And do you feel that that things are getting better? Like when you back then, like at the time of the riots, I mean, could you ever imagine that you would see gay marriage in your lifetime?
Well, the day after the rebellion, when they closed Stonewall forever, normally they would reopen the bar, but when you set the bar on fire with the police in it,
Yeah,
they reopened.
right.
And for 3 years, it was empty because in those days, a building had to be empty 3 years to lose its infamous, its reputation. And then it became they closed that arch between both floors. It became a bagel nosh, Chinese restaurant, luggage store, clothing store, restaurant, bar, nail salon, and I've seen it all. As I said, we had no rights at all then.
Right.
It was against the law to be homosexual. Cops would harass us constantly. But us being gay and wild, we harassed the police back. Like if we were in a group, somebody would say, "Does your father work?" And I go, "No, he's a cop." "What's a penny made out of?" We go, "Dirty copper." We did that in front of the police just to annoy them. Or we do a Congo line down the street in front of them. Or we'd sing, "We are the village girls. We wear our hair in curls. We wear our dungarees way up above our knees," just to annoy the police.
Now, do you think that's what inspired the village people by any chance?
I don't. You guys, my friend Glenn Hughes, when I met him, had a girlfriend. He was the leather man. And one day I ran into him and Felipe Rose on the street. And I go, "What are you doing here, Glenn?" Because I knew he lived in Bethpage. He goes, "I'm a village person." I said, "Oh, welcome to the neighborhood." And I walked away. Then I found out it's a group called the Village.
Right.
I'm still friends with Randy, the cowboy, and Felipe Rose, the Indian.
That's amazing. You just had such an amazing life tree. Have you ever thought about writing your memoirs?
Well, I've written nostalgia columns for gay magazines and newspapers. I'm working with somebody now that we meet, and I talk, he types, and then his publisher will send a picture from my Facebook and say, "Tell Tree to explain this photo." Like there's pictures of me and Buddy Holly. I'm 16, Buddy Holly's 19, Frankie Avalon's 15, Paul Anka is 14, Little Richard's 25. Of course, they're all black and white.
Right.
And they want to know why. I just walked in backstage at the Rock and Roll show one day, and I wound up at every one of them. I wound up helping out the different groups, the Everly Brothers. I had nerve. I would just walk backstage, and they'd say, "What do you want?" I go, "I'm with them." They didn't know, so they let me in.
They just let you. I give you credit. I would never, ever have the nerve to do something like that.
But then when I became friends with them and they were performing somewhere, I'd go and the doorman would say, I'd say, "I want to see Don and Phil Everly." Tell them Tree is here. 10 minutes later, the guy goes, "Come on in." I got to know them, their mother and father, Margaret and Ike. My mother always said one thing, because when I was a kid, I used to do Eddie Cantor and Al Jolson performances in the park when I was like 6, 7 years old. My mother never cursed, but she always said, "I could charm the balls off a brass monkey." Because I want to do something, do it. You want to meet somebody? Go get them.
And you did.
Don't think twice.
Did.
Do it.
Well, I admire your chutzpah. Let me tell you, I would never have the nerve. Well, Tree, we're going to take just a quick break.
Okay.
For our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from you about Stonewall and some other things.
Sure.
Okay. So stay tuned. We will be right back after these messages. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talking Tony. I'm Tony Homeperm, the singing diva of Long Island, and I'm having a wonderful conversation with Tree from the Stonewall Inn. Also was there at the Stonewall riots. And Tree, you also, most very important too, and this is actually, excuse me, the 50th year anniversary of the first Pride March.
This year is the first anniversary of the Pride March.
The 50th anniversary.
Unfortunately, with the coronavirus, everything's canceled. I was supposed to be in Greece now for Euro Pride again to make speeches. I was invited to Belgium. Other cities want me to come, ride in a car, wave. But everything was canceled. We don't know what's happening, even with the imperial court system. Most of the coronations have been canceled.
Yes.
And we're hoping that maybe December, Las Vegas. But I just got a text today. If everything's all right in October, will I come to Greece?
Oh.
And I said, let's play it by ear, because I've never been there. I'd love to go to Greece. So I'll see what happens by October. And I've already had the virus.
Oh, you did? I wasn't aware of that.
At the end of February, the beginning of March. Now I was tested. My antibodies are so good I could donate blood. I am 100% amazed. I was shocked because remember they said old people are dying, and I'm old.
Yeah.
And now I'm fine. I'm running around like a kid again.
Yes, but will they actually let you donate, Tree? Because I've been told if you say that you're gay, they won't take your blood.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not gay. I'm enchanted.
You're what?
Well, if they don't take it, that's good because they found alcohol in my blood system.
Well, that seems to be another thing that we need to work on. Going forward with society, that this ban on gay men being able to donate blood, but that's probably excuse me, a topic for another show. Now you brought up the imperial court system. You are actually, insofar as the Imperial Court of New York, you are Emperor 25. You are the double eagle Stonewall Emperor of Samovars, Sambas, and Sensibility. Did I get it all right?
Samovars because I'm a Russian. Samba because I go to Brazil all the time. And Sensibility because I didn't have any to say yes.
You're also the Stonewall Monarch of the International Imperial Court System of the USA.
Right, and I'm King Father of the Northeast.
King Father of the Northeast. And I believe you're also brother to Nicole the Great?
Yes, Nicole. I'm brother to Nicole.
Brother to Nicole?
I'm brother to Terry Sidey and the first knight of the round table, his round table. I was the first knight. Well, when I am now Tree, when they mention my name, it's Emperor 25 Sir Tree. Sir
Emperor 25 Sir Tree. Good to know.
It's camp, it's fun, it's fun.
Yes.
It's fake royalty.
Yes.
We have 71 chapters. There's 2 being worked on now. One in Georgia, one in North Carolina, I think. And I have met the most amazing, wonderful people in every court I've ever visited. Even the courts that I haven't visited, I met members at an event, and we became like instant friends.
Yes.
Some of them actually use the name Tree in their title.
Oh, they do? I wasn't aware of that.
Most of them in Washington, D.C. And Rhode Island.
Yes. Well, myself also being a member of the Imperial Court of New York, I get that that email once a month with the roster. And like when I was looking at the roster, like I saw you have along with your title of emperor, you have all those little things. It goes on for almost half a page. There's a lot of extra titles and declarations following your name. So.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I love the court system. I really did. I couldn't join it for years because I worked from 8 until 4 in the morning. But then when I
Oh.
shifted to days and I'm off on
Uh-huh.
Wednesday when we meet, and I
Mhm.
take off on week, unfortunately, I have to take off a whole weekend to travel to another court. I don't
Yes.
care about that because I still meeting people. Like
Mhm.
the bar closed, I am missing the people I work with. I'm
Mhm.
missing our regulars, the people that come in all the time to drink with us, and I'm missing the
Mhm.
people I have not met yet.
Very true. Very true. Now, Tree, when you reigned, your empress was Sugar Be Real, correct?
Yeah, Rhonda Potter, Sugar Be Real.
Yes.
We did nothing but giggle, laugh, and kiss the whole year. Our
I'm
Dow was
sure
the
you
year
did.
we giggled, kissed, and hugged and laughed, and we're still doing that. We call each other every week, sometimes twice a week.
Mhm. That was actually before.
I don't tell her enough, but I love her.
Oh, good. We love Rhonda, aka Empress Sugar Be Real. That was your reign was a few years before I actually joined the court. But it's so nice to look back and see, who were the different emperor and empresses, and at their reigns, and it's just a lot of fun to like just look back and look and see, and like, oh, who was emperor then, who was empress
Oh
then,
yeah.
and
When I joined the court in 2003,
mhm.
my friend China, who's now 89 years old,
Mm-hmm.
she was hit by a bus in Florida, and
Yes.
she's walking again.
Yes.
I love China to death. Her and
Mhm.
Gary Collins, her boyfriend at the time, they dragged me to the meeting of the Imperial Court.
Mm-hmm.
And Pansy was the president, and she's going, "Oh, I know him from the Robin Bird show. I know him
Mhm.
from Mama's Chicken Ribs." And I'm looking at Pansy like, "Who are you?" And
Mm-hmm.
then after the meeting, we talked, and that's been it. I've been a member of the court forever,
Mm-hmm.
and I love every minute of it.
Oh, that's wonderful, and the court is certainly blessed to have you as a member, and actually a lot of court events take place at Stonewall.
Yeah, we have the upstairs. They use that. I didn't do one this year because of the virus, but we have
Right.
one called Vice Versa, where
Mm-hmm.
all the men dressed as a man has to sing a girl song,
Right.
and the women and the drags have to sing a boy song.
Yes.
Some of them were hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
The songs that they found and picked.
Mm-hmm.
I did Betty Hutton, and nobody knew who she was.
Oh, I know who Betty Hutton is.
I know very few did.
I know who Betty Hutton is. Yes.
The younger generation had no idea.
Yes, I actually performed with the court at Stonewall last October. They did the Halloween show there.
Yeah, see, the bad thing about that is I'm working downstairs while they're doing a show upstairs.
Right.
I usually run up, take some raffle tickets, and then run downstairs.
Mm-hmm. I know since I've only been a performer, a drag performer for a few short years. It's really only 3 years, and being a part of the Imperial Court and getting to perform at Stonewall is it's almost an overwhelming experience to think you're performing at Stonewall, because some of the legendary performers that have been on stage there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with everybody, and every once in a while, for charity, I have to do drag, which I hate because Portia does my makeup with.
Uh-huh.
And taking that crap off, I don't know how you do it. And my name was Summer Clearance.
Summer Clearance.
But Summer retired. I donated everything to the drag tag sale, and I don't want to do it ever again.
Now, when Portia did your makeup, now did she make you look pretty, or was she trying to make you like the sister not as pretty as her?
No matter what you do, I'm never pretty. I tell everybody I'm not pretty, I'm tall.
Tall like a tree.
And the first time I did it with Portia, in the middle of it, she goes, "I don't believe I'm doing Tree's face." Because I did Johnny's drag attack.
Uh-huh.
at Cherry's.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's my sister, and he said, "You got to do it. You got to do it." And then
You gotta do
Imperial
it.
Court made me do it once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
Bernard Turbulence's drag brunch in Boston, Massachusetts. She's the Queen Mother of Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't mind doing it. It's fun.
Of course, yes. And the great thing about with the Imperial Court is they're doing it to raise money for organizations that are in need, and you know, like Trinity Place Shelter and
God's Love We Deliver.
God's Love We Deliver.
You know, it's amazing that, all right, the people that are listening to your broadcast here, the
Yes.
court system is 55 years old. We are the oldest and most populated organization in the United States. We have 71 chapters. We raised tens of millions of dollars over 55 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hearing this and you want to get involved, find out. Ask Toni, and she'll tell
Yep.
you what to do.
I will point you
It's a
to
great
the
organization. We have straight people. We have gay people. We have lesbians.
yes.
We have
Yes.
cross-dresser. We have everything. We even have a sex change.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody treats each other. We're family. We're the biggest, largest family there is.
Yes. And actually, Tree, talking about how, you know, they accept everybody. I mean, historically, an empress was always a drag queen. And if I'm not mistaken, Sugar was the first cisgender woman to be an empress in at least in the Imperial Court of New York.
It took her 2 tries. They kept saying it has to be a drag queen. It has to be a drag queen. But then people realized how much work she does for the court, how much money
Right.
she raises. And then
Right.
there's other, like the lovely Suzanne in Portland is a straight married woman.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a few others. And they elected us. And it was so different because I had no idea who Sugar was. And she had no idea who I was. And we wound up
Mm-hmm.
different empress. And we did nothing but love each other for still 3.5 years now.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And
She's my Sugar.
yes. And Sugar continues to you know, do a lot of events and raise a lot of money
She does.
for-
She has that
in the Imperial Court.
the prom date. She has
Yes.
some big ones where she raises $10,000, $15,000,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
very good. It goes to various charities. Now you got to remember everything we do. Like when in a nightclub, when you tip a performer, they keep it. In the Imperial Court in New York, there could be 8 or 9 performers, and every time people give them $1, $2, whatever they give them, that all goes to the charity. They do not keep it.
All goes to the charity. Yes, it's very important to note that, you know, everything that a court member does, they're donating their time. All the jewels that people wear, they've paid for that with their own money. Nobody is getting, you know, funded for any of that. So everything that we do is a donation.
When I perform out of town at the out of town shows or the after party, and people tip me, I donate the money to their charities.
Of course. And Tree, what's your favorite song to lip sync to when you do perform at an out of town event?
Well, I shocked her in Washington. I did a country western song, Sugar in the morning, Sugar in the afternoon, Sugar in sunset. She almost melted. If I'm in Texas or down there, I do cowboy songs.
Oh, ooh.
I have a song now. I'm preparing it, and I'm not talking about it because I want to shock the world.
Uh-huh.
I've done Danny Kaye. I have done Cocktails for Two by Spike Jones, lip syncing all the sounds. I have fun.
And it shows whenever you know, I've seen you perform. It's obvious to everyone watching you that you're having such a great time. And you know, Tree, let me ask you, you're 81 now, correct?
Right.
Because my father is 80 years old, and not in the best of health, and my husband and I we take care of him quite a bit. But Tree, you seem to have more energy than some people half your age. How do you do it?
Don't let it get to you. Don't think about it.
Oh, okay.
My doctor we had a physical not too long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he said my physical was more like a 65-year-old man's physical. And he
Wow.
looked at me. He's 49 years old. He said, "You may even bury me."
Wow.
If you think about it,
Mhm.
look, I never lip synced in my life. I never knew the words to Jingle Bells as a kid. And with the Imperial Court, I had to learn to lip sync and sing. I don't sing live. When I sing in the shower, the water turns off. I've been learning songs and having the time. And I look forward to it.
Of course, of course. And do you think that's your secret? Is that you love life? I mean, that I don't know how else.
I'm enjoying every minute from the day when I found out I was gay. I didn't know what that was. I found out from other people. I met kids in my neighborhood that were gay. We all went to the bar together the first time. I was 16, as I said. And the people I met my entire life, unfortunately, with the AIDS, I lost friends, acquaintances, and customers. But the friends I have are my friends forever. I never ended a friendship. And I keep making them. I have people all over the world that we text almost every day. My friends in Denmark, Norway. And I only met them one day at the bar. And we stayed.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, I think, Tree, you're just have this personality that people are just attracted to you, and they want to, you're so friendly that they want to be your friend. I think that's really what it is.
My boss says the same thing. He says, "Watch Tree. In 10 minutes, he owns that person." I always ask them where they're from. Sometimes I make fun of it. If they go there from New Jersey, I go, "I'm sorry." I tell them I went to Jersey twice. They go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, it was closed." But I have fun with the people. They know I'm kidding.
Of course.
And of course, if they're young, dumb, and hung, I love them.
Oh, even better. or at the very least, you made them like you. So at least, as your bartender, they'll tip you more.
I always tell everybody, I do not kiss on the first date.
Of course not.
Swallow maybe, but I won't kiss.
Oh my goodness. Now, Tree, I want to quickly just go back a little bit because, like I said, I know, like, as far as Stonewall and the riots, you've been asked every question a million times
in every language.
in every language. Now, somebody that is mentioned a lot, of course, and you brought her up before, is Marsha P. Johnson. Now, I actually just saw something today where somebody said that they were talking about Marsha, and they were describing her as transgender. But now the thing that I read was Marsha referred to herself as a transvestite. I mean, and didn't she even actually start an organization, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries?
No, that I never heard of.
Oh, you didn't?
I knew her. She was always a boy, but put girls' hats on and things like that. And she's basically a street person. And the man from the Madison Society who knew her, Wicca, can't think of his first name offhand, he took her in, and she lived with him for 7 years until she was killed.
Oh, jeez. And what was Marsha like? Just as a person, a real human being. Funny as hell.
She was funny, but we all knew she had no money, no nothing. If it was bad weather, the bar would let her in. Somebody would buy her a drink or something. But I don't think she drank alcohol, because when we were at the bars, we drank beer or soda because we knew about the liquor, because the bartenders were friends.
Right.
And, I've seen people get drunk on water because they think there was liquor in their drink.
Because they thought it was water, because they were watering. Excuse me, they were watering down the booze at the mafia-owned bars.
Oh yeah, that's how you make money. And there were good and bad cops. Also, Charlie on the beat. If I left the bar broke and asked him for 35 cents to take the train home, he'd give it to me.
Wow.
When on 6th Avenue, Whitey would hit you with his nightstick as hard as he could in the back of your legs.
Oh God.
We stood on a corner talking. You and I were talking as boys.
Mm-hmm.
They would arrest us for congregating.
Oh, wow.
There was all those stupid laws in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, look at how many members of Gold there are in New York City, the Gay Organization League.
Right.
And now there are people all over the United States fighting that the cops should not be marching in gay pride parades, even if they're gay.
Yeah.
I have to think about that, because the gay cops I know are on our side.
Right.
And to deny them marching in a parade, it's like hurting them, and even though they're helping us, because there are good and bad cops.
Yes.
In the old days, almost every cop could be bought. But nowadays, you only have a few apples here and there that are rotten.
Mm.
And they have to protect themselves. When somebody's throwing a firebomb at them in a riot or rebellion, they have to protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up in the air if they're gonna allow them to march.
Mm.
But the cops I know are real nice. The 6th precinct by Stonewall, they'll just stop by and say, "Everything all right, Tree?" I go give them the thumbs up, and they drive away.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it's nice to hear nice things like that, especially with everything that's happening in the world right now. It really is.
And some of the cops, I see your day stick. Can I see your nightstick?
Nothing gets past you, Tree.
Oh, when I went to police headquarters with the Imperial Court,
Mm-hmm.
they announced me. I went on stage. I went to the back wall and did that, like when you're being arrested.
Mm-hmm.
I showed them, I went, "Anybody for a cavity search?" Even the straight cops had to laugh, because I have a crazy sense of humor.
Yes, you do.
I believe in there's a sign right here, and I believe in this sign.
Mm-hmm.
Laugh.
Laugh. Yes, it's very true.
I live by that.
And I think that's part of your longevity and vigor. Really, is because you laugh.
Everything is. I don't want to hear sad stories unless it's short. I feel somebody comes in and says, "My dad died." I feel bad. I tell them
Of course.
but I don't want to
Right.
talk about it for 2 hours.
No.
If
Right.
we did for 2 hours and he got up and walked, that'd be a different story. But
Exactly.
I'm the priest, the father, the psychiatrist, the mother, the grandmother, their bartender. I'm everything to a customer,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be there for them, because that's why they come back. Because they
Of course.
trust you. I've had a habit of lending people a few dollars here and there. I always get it back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very proud of that. I have some customers call me Mom.
Oh.
The Emperor, Jason Dull, calls me Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he made me cry. When his father died, he texted me,
Oh.
"Now I only have one dad."
Oh.
And I really got it. And then the owners of the bar call me Granny.
How dare they?
But I tell everybody, only the owners.
Only the owners are allowed. Tree, let me ask you quickly, because we're coming to the end of our show. What's the absolute craziest thing that ever happened to you while bartending in Stonewall?
In Stonewall?
Yeah.
Oh, becoming good friends with Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Derek Jacobi. And Lance Black.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, Ian and I are good friends. When I was in England, we hung out together, and he came to New York, we hang out together. And Lance Black wants me to meet the baby, because him and Tom adopted a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just down-to-earth, everyday people. Ian McKellen is one of the greatest actors in the world.
Absolutely, yes.
He would walk the street and say hello to people.
Mm-hmm.
He has no entourage.
Mm-hmm.
He has no bodyguards. That's it. He's that well loved. He doesn't need those people like some of these performers they have with 25 people.
Right.
I knew Bette Midler. She didn't travel with people when I used to go to the Continental Beds to see her.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them in my neighborhood, you see Sarika, Jessica Parker, and Matthew Broderick walking with the kids by themselves.
Yes.
No bodyguards.
Yes. Right.
Christopher Walken, Macaulay Culkin, Blondie. They all live in the area of the village, and they're down to earth people. If you say hello, they answer you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are stars.
And they all know you.
Yep. When everybody says, who don't you know? I always say, and your name is? I've been very, very lucky with my life.
You certainly had a blessed life, Tree. You really have.
And it's not over.
No, it's not. You still got a lot of living to do.
I may even run for emperor again.
Oh, shh. You didn't hear it here, but
but I got to remember, it's a year out of my life.
That is true. It's a big commitment. It's a big commitment.
A lot to do. I did it once, and that was 5 years ago, and I loved every minute of it. Meeting people I've never met.
Right.
Sugar and I had so much. We were so respected because we're Stonewall Emperor and Empress.
Right.
Everybody loves Sugar because she sells the jewelry at each events. She brings tons of jewelry. I don't know how she gets on the plane. I think one of the packages weighs more than the plane, and all jewelry that she sells. So everybody knows Sugar from that.
Yes.
Because of the history. So we're her and I are so respected when we go to an out-of-town event. And I can't wait till this thing is over, and I'm missing traveling. I'm missing work, and I'm missing traveling.
Yeah, a lot of people are. They are. You're not the only one.
I can't even go to Fire Island because you can't.
I know, and we won't have the drag invasion.
No.
This July.
Well, I stay with Johnny Poole at his house, and we have a pool in the back of the house. But otherwise, we can't drink and sit down at a bar to drink and talk to other people. Phase 2 is starting Monday.
Right, for New York City.
Finally get a haircut.
Yes. Yeah, we already started phase 2 here. So.
Yeah, but New York now, they're playing it. Our governor is amazing.
Yes, he is.
I mean,
he really
every governor that opened up their country, city, and state, they're getting sick again. He is so smart.
I know. Well, as he said, and as we can see, New York's numbers are going down every day. They're going down. I think only
12 people died yesterday.
Yes, it's sad, but compared to where we were at, a few weeks ago, that's good news. It really is.
My friends in Texas are still because it's 49% raise in coronavirus in Texas. And they opened too early. Same in Florida.
They did. They really did. But fortunately, things are getting better here in New York. They are getting better in New York City. Soon, I don't know when, but we know we're headed on the path where soon people are going to be able to go back to Stonewall, and they're going to be able to go up to you. You'll be behind the bar, and they'll be able to say, "Hi, Trey, give me a drink."
Thank you, Tony. And I really appreciate you asking me to do this. I enjoyed it every minute. Looking at a beautiful lady like you always makes me happy.
Oh, go on, Tree. No, go on. This was actually a very, I tried to do a very 60-ish Marilyn Monroe look, and in honor of you.
A little Alice Faye.
Alice Faye. Okay, I have to look her up. I gotta Google.
One of my favorite singers.
I have to Google her. Oh, but Tree, of course, everyone can find you at Stonewall. Is that not correct?
When Thursday, Friday, Saturday day, from noon till 8.
Noon till 8.
We still don't know because if we only can open up half the bar,
right,
we have to make sure all the other bartenders have shifts also that work upstairs.
That's right.
So I don't know my days yet.
Right. But you'll eventually you're going to be back, and people are going to be able to come up and say hello to you. And
I hope they do.
that's what we're looking for. Well, Tree, unfortunately, we're all out of time. Excuse me, but I want to thank you so much for joining me here tonight. We are, trying to celebrate Pride as best that we can. We couldn't have a parade this year, but I am honored that you joined me to tell people about the riot at Stonewall, the very first Pride parade, and of course everything that you had to share about the Imperial Court of New York.
It was my pleasure, Tony.
Thank you so much, and I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight to get a glimpse of me talking to Tree. I will be back in 2 weeks, and my guest will be Pansy. She's in charge of the drag invasion on Fire Island. We can't have the invasion, but I'm still going to bring you Pansy.
Pansy's my wife in the Imperial Court system.
Oh, see, it's a family affair. It's a family affair.
I love my Pansy.
Well, then you got to catch me in 2 weeks when I have Pansy right where you're sitting. Yes.
All right, Tony. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone, and stay safe. Stay safe. Wear your masks.
Ciao.
Thank you. Good night.
Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a gabbing and a singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Oh, talking Toni, gonna talk tonight.